You ever watch a moment in sports and just feel it in your gut that what you're seeing is bigger than the box score? That it's not just about football, not just about who wins or loses, but about truth, about principle, about the difference between what's earned and what's stolen. That's exactly what happened when the Browns faced the Rams. And before I dive all the way in, let me tell you this, I've got something special lined up for my viewers. I'm giving away an official jersey to one of you, completely free. All you've got to do is drop a comment below and make sure you're subscribed. That's it. I'll be pulling a winner from the comments and subscribers right before the first regular season kickoff. So, if you've ever thought about joining this community, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button, leave your take in the comments, and you might just be repping a brand new jersey when the season begins. What unfolded in those final minutes wasn't coaching. It wasn't strategy. It wasn't football. It was betrayal. It was politics dressed up in a headset. And at the center of it all was Sanders, a young quarterback who had done everything right, who had lit up the field all night long, and who was robbed of the moment he earned. Now, let me walk you through it, because the deeper you go into this story, the clearer it becomes the Browns aren't fighting the Rams, or even the rest of the NFL. They're fighting themselves. Kevin Stefanski didn't just make a decision against the Rams, he pulled off sabotage in plain sight. The scoreboard said Cleveland won, but anybody watching with clear eyes saw what really happened. The last 2 minutes weren't football, they were politics. And here's the thing, Sanders had been dominant. I mean flat-out dominant. A 7-play, 75-yard drive to open the night, carving up the Rams' defense like he'd been in the league for years. Another perfect strike in the second quarter. Sustained, surgical drives in the third. Every metric, every snap, every glance screamed the same thing. This was the best quarterback on the field. His poise, his accuracy, his command, it wasn't just obvious to us. Even Rams coaches were saying, that kid's different. By the time the 2-minute drill rolled around, Sanders wasn't just playing well, he was on the verge of cementing himself as the guy. And then, like a switch flipped, Stefanski pulled him. With just 23 seconds left, Sanders, helmet on, play ready, was yanked in favor of Dylan Gabriel. The crowd didn't take it quietly. The place erupted in boos. Sideline players stared in disbelief. Veterans muttered under their breath, "What the hell is going on?" And Sanders? He didn't rant, didn't throw his helmet, didn't storm off. He just sat down, removed his helmet, and stared forward. Silent, seething. That kind of composure, holding all that rage in check, made his teammates respect him even more than the stats did. And then the disaster began. Gabriel's drive was a circus. Delay of game, fumbled snap, wild overthrow, intentional grounding. 6 plays of pure chaos, saved only by Rams' mistakes. The Browns didn't win because of that decision, they survived in spite of it. But peel back the curtain and it gets darker. Because behind the scenes, this wasn't about Sanders' performance, it was about politics. Ownership is clinging to Joe Flacco, a 40-year-old who fits their fantasy of stability. Gabriel, their third-round draft investment, is the guy they're desperate to validate. Sanders? He's the outlier, the fifth-round revelation who threatens to expose every bad choice, every flawed hierarchy, every ounce of pride in that front office. And instead of celebrating his rise, they suppress it. Players know. Coaches know. Fans sure as hell know. Social media exploded the second Sanders was benched. #FreeSanders shot across the country. Bernie Kosar called it criminal. Even rival players couldn't stay silent. Politics over performance kills franchises. And inside the locker room, it's poison. Veterans see who lifts this team. Sanders elevates. Gabriel drags it down. Choosing politics over performance doesn't just waste games, it destroys chemistry. And Cleveland is living it in real time. Let's talk numbers. Because numbers don't lie. Sanders. 18 completions on 22 attempts. 267 yards, 2 touchdowns. 0 interceptions. A passer rating of 127. That's not just promising rookie stuff. That's franchise cornerstone production. Compare it to Gabriel's line, 2-4-7. 11 yards, nearly picked. The gap isn't just wide, it's humiliating. Yet the front office spins their favorite narrative. Competition is still open. Stop it. We all saw the truth. And it stings even worse when you realize the preparation Sanders put in. First guy in the building. Last one out. Film sessions that went until sunrise. Extra reps with receivers, studying protections with linemen. He prepared like a man whose entire career depended on it, because it did. And still, in the moment he earned most, politics stripped it away. This isn't about one meaningless preseason win. This is about Cleveland sabotaging its own future. This is about ownership and management so afraid of admitting failure that they'd rather bury a generational talent than embrace him. Because every touchdown Sanders throws, it exposes them. Every cheer from fans, it weakens their grip. Every highlight, it proves their system is broken. And through it all, Sanders stays silent. No complaints. No interviews laced with bitterness. No cryptic social media posts. Just professionalism. Just silence. And that silence, it only deepens the respect inside that locker room. That maturity makes the betrayal feel even heavier. Tomorrow, the press conferences will be the same tired theater. Stefanski will talk about evaluation and hard choices. Barry will spin long-term vision. But the truth? Stefanski benched Sanders not because of performance, but because of politics. He protected ownership's narrative and his own job. Barry clings to Gabriel because admitting Sanders is better would mean admitting they drafted wrong. But the fans aren't buying it. And Cleveland fans? They're not casuals. They've endured the drive, the fumble, the endless dysfunction, the Watson disaster. Their patience is gone. Watching a once-in-a-generation quarterback get suppressed isn't just cruel, it's unforgivable. Social media is already on fire. Hashtags calling for Stefanski's head. Clips of the disaster going viral. Even sponsors and the league office are watching now. And inside the building, it's even worse. Players who line up against both QBs every day know exactly who gives them the best chance to win. Defensive stars are furious about wasted seasons. Offensive weapons openly prefer the quarterback who makes their jobs easier. Trust in leadership? Gone. Respect? Shattered. Group chats are buzzing with anger. Assistants are polishing resumes. The team unity Stefanski preached in camp collapsed in an instant. Let me make this clear. Sanders isn't just good for a rookie. He's special. His numbers put him among the best rookie preseason quarterbacks we've ever seen. And instead of building around him, Cleveland is burying him. Because to admit he's the answer would mean admitting they were wrong. And they'd rather protect their pride than their future. If Sanders ever leaves, Cleveland will wear this like a scar forever. Other teams already see it. They're sniffing around. They know he's the real deal. Meanwhile, Gabriel gets crushed under the weight of expectations he can't carry, and Flacco just stands there as the living symbol of dysfunction. The Browns have turned themselves into a case study of cowardice. Free agents are watching. Agents are warning their players. The league is taking notes. And Stefanski? No matter how he spins it, no matter what lines he feeds the media, his legacy is set. He'll be remembered as the coach who benched a generational talent. Not to win, not to build, but to survive. That's the truth. That's the story. And as someone who's watched this franchise find new ways to trip over itself for decades, I'll tell you this. What we saw against the Rams might go down as one of the darkest turning points in Cleveland history. The uproar in Cleveland isn't just noise anymore, it's a full-blown rebellion. I'm talking about nearly 100,000 fans signing petitions, season ticket holders threatening boycotts, local businesses pulling Browns gear out of their storefronts, radio lines jammed with angry voices. This isn't your run-of-the-mill frustration after a tough loss. This is personal. Fans feel betrayed, sabotaged, disrespected. And here's the kicker. The money is drying up. Merch sales plummeting, sponsors freezing up, TV ratings wobbling. Sure, the NFL's revenue-sharing model might pad ownership's pockets, but nothing can protect against the sight of empty stadium seats and canceled season tickets. And yet, inside that quarterback room, three very different stories are unfolding. Sanders? He refuses to break. He takes the injustice, the politics, the sabotage, and he turns it into fire. Every snap in practice, every rep, he's locked in. Gabriel? The opposite. The kid's rattled. He was handed something he didn't earn, and deep down he knows it. That eats at a player. And then there's Flacco, the vet. He's seen this circus before. He knows exactly what this is. Politics trumping performance. The same script that's defined the Browns for decades. Now, here's the real problem. The coaching staff has lost credibility. You can't preach accountability when you refuse to live by it. You can't motivate a locker room that doesn't trust you. Stefanski and Barry have backed themselves into a corner. One path restores trust and salvages the season. The other? Protecting politics, alienating the fan base, burning what little goodwill remains. And so far, they've chosen the wrong path. But here's the part that gives me chills. Behind the scenes, the players know. Teammates are texting Sanders, calling him, pulling him aside. Quiet words of encouragement, promises whispered in private. They see what's happening, and they respect the way he's handling it. A full-on revolt? Maybe. History says most guys won't risk their careers for principle. But sometimes, rare moments of unity spark revolutions, and this injustice could be one of those moments. Meanwhile, Cleveland's running out of time. Rivals are sharpening their blades while the Browns stumble around in chaos. National perception has flipped overnight. Just weeks ago, the Browns were called surprise contenders. Now, they're the league's latest punchline. Not because of a blown play or a bad draft pick, but because of sabotage at the top. Fans know it, players know it, and the noise is only getting louder. And through all this, Sanders, man, this is what sets him apart. He keeps his head down. He studies tape, memorizes defenses, locks in on preparation. He's not lashing out, not pointing fingers. He knows greatness can be delayed, but it cannot be denied. And that, my friends, is why his rise feels inevitable. Meanwhile, the financial reality is a ticking time bomb. The Browns rake in $500 million a year, but fan boycotts? Empty seats? That's poison. Stadiums don't fill themselves, and money talks louder than ownership spin. The media smells blood, too. Local reporters face a test. Do they toe the line for access, or do they call it like it is? That next press conference? It's going to be a war zone. Stefanski will be forced to defend the indefensible, his every pause, his every deflection exposing the cracks. And Barry? He looks worse by the day. His draft choices unraveling, his credibility circling the drain. Ownership, whispering in the background, doing what owners do, searching for scapegoat. Because when national media smells weakness, they feast. And Sanders. Sanders has become bigger than just a quarterback competition. He's now a symbol. He represents merit over politics, talent over bureaucracy, truth over deception. The ripple effect could stretch across football entirely. College programs are already watching, seeing how the NFL mishandled a generational talent. Inside the Browns facility, the tension is suffocating. Practices feel mechanical, uninspired. A team going through the motions, but Sanders? He shines. Every throw crisp, every read perfect. Meanwhile, Gabriel looks panicked, Flacco detached. Defenders see it. They know their championship window is closing, and they're not blind. They know which quarterback gives them a shot. Quietly, they choose their side. Stefanski, once respected for being authentic, now sneaks through back doors just to avoid confrontation. His words ring hollow, his authority fading. The puppet strings are visible and everyone can see it. Game day comes. The stadium is packed, but it doesn't feel like football. It feels like a trial. Fans aren't there for entertainment. They're there for justice. And then the PA voice booms. At quarterback, Joe Flacco. The boos shake the place to its core. Debris flies. Fans rage. And right there, in that moment, the Browns lose more than a game. They lose their soul. By halftime, national analysts stop even talking about the X's and O's. They're talking collapse. A franchise imploding under its own politics. Cleveland walks off that field not just beaten, but humiliated. And yet Sanders stays the same. Professional, prepared, patient. He's everything the organization is not. His rise may be delayed, but it cannot be stopped. The Browns now stand at a crossroads. stick with dysfunction, or embrace the obvious. Start Sanders. Choose winning. Rebuild trust. Because anything else? It's collapse. The revolution's already started, and whether it's in Cleveland or somewhere else, Sanders will rise. Excellence always does. So, here's the truth. The Browns are standing on the edge of a cliff, and Sanders is the only rope strong enough to pull them back. His rise isn't just about Cleveland. It's about every fan who still believes in merit over politics, every player who fights for what's earned, not given. And this story? It's far from over. If you felt the frustration, if you see the injustice, if you believe Sanders deserves a shot, then stick with me. Hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because trust me, this saga is only getting started, and we're going to ride it out together.